Hey guys, it's Kai. Sure, cats and dogs are cool, but maybe it's time to start thinking outside the box. From marvelous mammals to unique marsupials, these are some of the most unusual pets in the world. Number 10, Kinkajou. Normally it's Paris Hilton's fashion sense that turns heads, but when she stepped out cradling a curious little creature called the Kinkajou, she made tongues wag. Also known as honey bears, these small golden brown mammals live in rainforests of Central and South America. Nocturnal tree dwellers, Kinkajous mostly spend their time high in the rainforest canopy. They can climb up and run up trees easily, and although they somewhat resemble monkeys, they are more closely related to raccoons and red pandas. Living anywhere from 20 to 25 years in captivity, some are known to live longer than 40 years. But if you happen to live in a colder climate, the Kinkajou may not be the pet for you. These critters need the warm temperatures and high humidity levels of the rainforest to live comfortably. A small creature that weighs up to 7 pounds, the Kinkajou can vary anywhere from 16 to 25 inches in length, with their tails measuring an additional 15 to 20 inches. Luckily, Kinkajous don't have much of an odor, but they are known to be messy and noisy. They make barking noises and sometimes yelp like a dog, and can also make a shrill shrieking sound when they're hungry. If you do happen to live in the right climate to have a Kinkajou as a pet, make sure you provide it with plenty of shelter with ropes and ledges to climb on, as well as toys to keep them busy. Also be sure to have fruits and honey, as well as insects, frogs, and plants available for them to dine on. All of these little luxuries will go a long way in keeping your Kinkajou a happy camper. Number 9, Wallaroo. With the name Wallaroo, you might be thinking this creature is a cartoon character, but it's actually a marsupial. A middle-sized mammal with big feet, Wallaroos are larger than wallabies, but smaller than kangaroos. They are known to stand on their back legs to eat and also carry their babies in their pouch. More stocky and powerful than their cousins, they have shaggy fur and black snouts. Known as a shy creature, it takes time for them to become comfortable around humans, although they're known to be curious and bond with their owners when treated positively. They are seen as friendly and playful, but also sometimes mischievous. As with most animals, they do better with outdoor areas to explore. In their native Australia, they tend to jump and run, feeding on grasses and shrubs. Because both males and females of the species live from 15 to 20 years, you might want to think long and hard before you decide to adopt a Wallaroo into your family. Number 8, sugar gliders. Another creature in the marsupial family is the sugar glider. Although they look like flying squirrels, they are not rodents, but closely related to kangaroos. They get their name from the skin that stretches from their wrists to their sides, which enables them to glide through the air when their arms are outstretched. Sugar gliders are nocturnal and live in groups from 6 to 10 in New Guinea and Australia. Similar to the kangaroos, they also have pouches where they raise their young. These tiny creatures are becoming popular as pets due to their unique large eyes. Classic sugar gliders have gray fur, a black stripe, and a white underbelly. They are very social and get depressed when housed alone, so you may need to adopt more than one sugar glider so they can keep one another company. They are playful and curious and like to interact with their owners, often curling up in a shirt pocket. The best way to tame them is to spend a lot of time handling them and allowing them out of their cages to explore. My uncle had a sugar glider once, and one day as it was gliding around the house, it glided right onto my sister's face. Luckily, sugar gliders are easy to feed. They eat plants and insects, as well as protein, insects, and beans. Even some fruits and vegetables will keep them satisfied. The only downside of sugar gliders? They only live an average of 5 to 7 years. So if you do decide to adopt them, be sure to spend as much time with these cute little creatures as you can. Number 7, Fennec Fox. Looking for an adorable exotic pet to snuggle? The Fennec Fox might be the perfect match. With oversized ears and expressive dark eyes, it's easy to see why the Fennec Fox is so popular. A small desert mammal from the dry Sahara and North Africa, the Fennec Fox is one of the smallest, if not smallest, foxes known to man. Their oversized ears, roughly half the length of their body, make it easy for them to pick up sounds, and their thick fawn-colored fur protects them from the elements. In the wild, Fennec Foxes live an average of 10 years, but if you decide to take one on as a pet, they can live from 13 to 14 years. Feeding a Fennec Fox is not for the faint of heart, however. Known to dine on insects, rodents, and reptiles, you have to get down and dirty with the creepy crawlies to keep your fox happy. social animals that live in colonies with up to 10 other foxes in the wild, they are known to purr like a cat when they're happy. They also like to climb and dig and have been known to dig up to 20 feet underground in a single night. These tiny creatures, about the size of a cat, are in the same family as foxes, wolves, and dogs, with their closest relative being the red fox. A very social creature, this might be the exotic pet for you. Number 6. Chinese Crested Dog. The Chinese Crested Dog is one of the most unique specimens of the dog world. Small and exotic, they come in hairless and coated varieties with many colors. Sometimes called the Velcro dog because they depend on their owner emotionally for a lot of personal interaction. These adept climbers and jumpers don't like to be left alone for long periods of time without companionship. But don't let these personality traits sway you. The Chinese Crested is bright and inquisitive, but they do tend to be quite vocal and bark or howl a lot. Part of the toy breed puppies, these little darlings can also sometimes be a bit stubborn. But with a little socialization and a lot of love, this elegant, unique-looking dog may be right for you. Number 5. Spotted Genet. What animal looks like a cross between a raccoon and a leopard and might just be the pet you're looking for? The spotted genet. With the spots of the leopard and a striped raccoon-like tail, this small to medium-sized mammal comes from parts of Africa and the Mediterranean. With dens that can be found in rocky areas and holes in the ground, you may need to do a little coaxing to get this pet to cuddle up to you on the couch. They like to be independent and hunt alone at night. Carnivores that eat small mammals such as mice, they have also been known to eat bats, birds, and reptiles. But that doesn't mean they don't have a softer side. Genets have a number of different vocalizations, including purring and meowing, but they have also been known to growl, hiss, or even spit when they're threatened by other animals. With owls, leopards, and pythons known to be some of their predators, you may just want to take one of these cuddly creatures into your home just to keep them out of harm's way. But don't expect them to cuddle up with you every night before you go to bed. They can sometimes be a little standoffish and prefer to do their own thing. Then again, that kind of describes your average teenager, right? Number 4. Capybara. No, it's not a massive groundhog, but the capybara sure does look like one. This world's largest rodent comes from South Africa and can live from 8 to 12 years. These creatures are very tame, but there are a number of drawbacks to keeping the capybara as a pet in most states unless you have a special permit. They live in large groups and are very social, so you may need to adopt more than one if you want to keep them happy. They are also semi-aquatic creatures, so you will need to make sure they have plenty of water and a place to swim. They've also been known to chew on furniture and carpeting, so to keep them satisfied, you will need plenty of space for them to roam. Although such a creature may not look fast, they are known to be able to move at a very fast pace, so you will have to keep an eye on them. You will also need to make sure you keep them in a very secure area if you decide to adopt one of these magnificent rodents. Number 3. Echidna. Not exactly the most cuddly-looking creature in the bunch, the echidna, or spidey anteater, is another of Australia's and New Guinea's most unique creatures. Either long or short-beaked, they have fleshy noses and their bodies are covered with hollow, barbless quills. An egg-laying mammal similar to the platypus, they can grow from 14 to 30 inches long and weigh 5 to 22 pounds. With the widest distribution of any native mammal in Australia, you can find these creatures in alpine meadows, interior deserts, and the coastal forests. They are solitary animals though, and because they are not very territorial, they tend to roam during the day in the warmer months. They can live up to 50 years and hibernate during the cold winter months in their carefully crafted burrows. With no teeth, they are only able to eat termites, ants, and other larvae by digging to them with their strong claws and scooping them up with their long tongues. Unique to the species is the fact that the female only lays one egg at a time, which goes into her pouch to incubate. After 7 to 10 days, the egg is already ready to hatch. A baby echidna, called a puggle, measures only a ½ inch and weighs about ½ gram. The puggle stays in its mother's pouch for 6 to 8 weeks to continue to grow. If this shin creature sounds like the right fit for you, you may have a hard time finding one. Unfortunately, a number of echidna species are critically endangered, so you may only be able to see one at your local zoo or nature preserve. Number 2. Pangolin. If you prefer pets that are a little more scaly, maybe the pangolin is for you. Found in China, Taiwan, India, and Bangladesh, there are actually 8 species of the pangolin, a mammal whose names comes from the Malaysian word, one who rolls up. The Chinese pangolin is one of the most critically endangered of the species. Its long, coiling tail is the most unique feature, and it's what sets it apart from other species of pangolin. The tail can grow almost as long as its body, and pangolins use them to grip branches or strip away bark to look for bugs to eat. The giant pangolin, found in Kenya and Uganda, is the biggest member of the species and can weigh 3 times as much as the white and black-bellied pangolins. Remarkably, they can even walk upright by using their tail to balance. Usually a reddish-brown color, they have large, heavy body and jagged scales. If you're looking to channel your inner Khaleesi, the long-tailed or black-bellied pangolin may be for you. One of the most unique, this variety is mostly active in the daytime. With a black body and black gold-tipped scales, the black-bellied pangolin looks at first glance like a dragon. Even though the various species look very different from one another, they are all 4-legged animals with a snout, tail, and body covered with tough plate-like scales and are known to curl into a ball when they're scared. If you had your heart set on one of these fascinating creatures, you may be out of luck though. Of the 8 pangolin species, 2 are considered endangered and 2 are on the critically endangered list. The other 4 are considered vulnerable. So rather than adopting one, you may want to opt to join one of the conservation groups who are trying to save the pangolin before they are gone for good. Number 1. Bandicoot. Sure, you may have heard of the video game Crash Bandicoot, but you know these critters are real, right? Bandicoots may look like small rodents, but they are actually part of the marsupial family. Another creature that comes from Australia, especially the coastal areas of New South Wales, these rainforest and woodland residing creatures build nests in shallow holes and line them with leaves for comfort. Measuring between 6 and 22 inches, there are about 20 different species. From brown to yellow, black to orange, and even gray, these creatures are known to hop when they forage for food at night. But as more houses and roads are being built in urban areas, bandicoots are losing their natural habitat, so you may play a part in protecting the species if you decide to adopt one. Why adopt a dog or a cat when you can have one of these exotic pets? Would you house any of them? Let me know in the comments below and be sure to subscribe. I'll see you next time.